Hello, everyone. It's Representative John Bell. Just wanted to touch base with you. Thank you for checking in on our social media platforms and website and following all the work that's been going on here in the General Assembly. It's Saturday, May the 2nd. We just finished the vote on the state's response to the coronavirus package. I know many of you have followed along over the last 4 weeks as we've come together, both Republican and Democrat, here in the House to work on a response to the COVID-19 outbreak and pandemic that we've had here in our state. The Speaker assigned task force that were broke down into healthcare, education, regulatory reform, and also economic development. And today we voted out 2 bills that we're hoping Governor Cooper will sign into law that will be direct support to the citizens of our state. I wanted to read through some of these with you so that way you'll understand, and then also on our social media platforms you'll have links to full content, and you can go to ncleg.net and follow the bills along there. But the pandemic response includes $125 million for small business loans that are going to Golden Leaf. For those interested in that, can continue to apply through the Golden Leaf bridge loans and go to the Golden Leaf website and apply there, and that funding should be available. There's already funding there, but there should be more funding available really soon. On the K12 education side, it's been a big concern for a lot of people with our schools shut down for the year and just an unfortunate situation of graduations and ball games and proms and everything missed. Just want to let you know that we've appropriated an additional $75 million for breakfast and lunch programs with K12 education. $70 million to go into our summer learning programs, an additional $11 million for improving K12 internet connectivity. We've, in our past general budgets over the last 6 years, we've really made a push to have internet capability at all of our schools. We're currently the only state in the country that does that, to have wireless internet at all our schools, and we'll continue that push to make sure that we can have the broadband capabilities there in our communities. An additional $30 million for computers and electronic devices to participate in the digital learning platforms. $10 million for mental health and other student services that are needed across our state. When you move into the higher education platforms, our community college, the UNC system, and our private colleges, community colleges received $25 million, UNC system $44 million, and our private schools, private colleges received additional $20 million. So you're looking at folks like University of Mount Olive, Lenore Community College, Wayne Community College, Johnson Community College, and East Carolina University in our area will receive an additional funds to help with the needs there. In the COVID-19 supplies and support category, you've got an additional $50 million on top of what we've already done for personal protective device equipment. That's the PPEs you hear a lot about on TV. $25 million on top of what we've already done to expand in contact tracing for testing. An additional $25 million for financial support to assisted living facilities. We know that throughout our state and also throughout the country, these are hot zones where the virus has broken out, and so we're providing additional funding there to help them. Another $20 million on top of this for enhancement to public health capabilities. Our public health centers and public health departments across our state and right here in our own counties are working very hard. And then the additional $20 million for behavioral health services. And those are just a broad overview of the services that will come into there. Like I mentioned earlier, we're still making the aggressive approach for broadband connectivity, so we put additional $9 million on top of what we've already done in past budgets there as well. Social services, you're looking at foster and healthcare, food banks, and so all receiving significant amounts of money, and then additional $5 million for our community health centers, like our friends in Greene County there and Wayne County that are working hard to do that. We put an additional $29 million into the North Carolina Public Health and Collaboratory, where they're working to help find vaccines and do research. And so our good friends at the Brody School of Medicine, which we all know is a major anchor in Eastern North Carolina, will receive an additional $15 million. Then our friends over at Campbell University will receive an additional $6 million. And of course, UNC, Wake Forest, and Duke with the medical schools all attached there will be receiving funding to really go out and try to find a vaccine and do the research to help prevent this pandemic from spreading. Our rural hospitals sees an additional $65 million to provide support there. I know I've constantly been in contact with our rural hospitals such as Biden and our UNC system with UNC Wayne, UNC Johnston, and so they're really happy about that one. On top of this, we received another $15 million for our teaching hospitals, which once again goes to the Brody School of Medicine, which is money well spent. and then additional $15 million on top of all this, the General Hospital Relief Fund, to really help our hospitals and our frontline workers that have been working so hard. State and local governments in this played a major part. Additional $300 million for local governments. A lot of the county functions with health departments, EMS, they've really drained their services fighting this pandemic, and so we're going to help them with funds. Additional $50 million for rural and underserved communities, and on top of that, an additional $100 million for counties as well. $300 million to help with our transportation issues we're having across the state, and of course additional $5 million for our travel and tourism industry to get our state back open and promote it, and hopefully when it's over with, to bring people back into our state to get our economy wrapped up. These are just some of the highlights on the appropriation side. It's a $1.5 billion appropriation. So of course, if you were adding up along as I went through, that doesn't include all the appropriations. But I encourage you to go look at that. There's a lot of funding there. I will put the caveat there is one of the things I'm very proud of is that we've done here at the General Assembly is that this is actually 100% federal dollars. We took CARES Act money. We're implementing those for the state response, and then also making sure that our state budget is going to be intact as we move forward. So we're working with our federal partners and right here at the General Assembly to make sure that our state budget is intact. But the $1.5 billion spent is all federal dollars. There was also policy work that went in. I know many of you have reached out about the calendar flexibility. There's some calendar flexibility there for our schools. There's also waiving of testing on K12 there. And so our public schools, private schools will benefit from that one. Also, many of you have reached out about tax filing deadlines. Those have officially been extended to July 15th once this bill is signed into law. Also, many of you have also reached out about your marriage license, notary fees, license expired, tags expired. All those have been delayed till August the 1st. And also the extension on the marriage license and the access to notaries has been expanded there as well. We continue to work on this here in Raleigh. Even though we finished session today, we're going to go right back in next week to continue working with our task forces for the second round of response. So like all of us have experienced before with Hurricane Matthew and Florence, these responses are a process, and this is the beginning phase of the process. But a lot of work has gone in here today. I'm ready for our state to reopen. I'm hopeful that the governor will start moving that direction, and it's time to get back to business. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and making sure that they're up to date and tuned to the information that's coming out. Continue to stay safe, continue to follow the laws, and let's get the state back open and head in the right direction. Thank you, and God bless.